The title of this podcast is Stop Living Your Life Based on the Nothing Data that you picked up. This is inspired by my man, Michael Singer. And he tells a story about that we know very little, but we live our lives as if we know everything and we know it to be true. We're here, but for a short period of time on a planet that has been around for over 4 billion years, but we know everything. And we are on a planet with all these people, and we think that our experience is one that really that can be relied upon as being true. And what do we base it on? We base it on these experiences that we had. But if you quantify the experiences that we've had, Michael Singer says they're point keep going, times, and you raise it to whatever the biggest power is. That's how much our data set is. It is so small that it rounds down to nothing, but we treat it as if it's been validated, and it is no question that it's not even questioned that it is true, but it's not. And I don't care how learned you are, of all the knowledge that's out in the world, of all the experience that have happened over 4 billion years on this planet, how can your information, your experience amount to anything that is even scientifically significant? It isn't. And so once you get how little you know, hopefully it will be like it is for me, it will be humbling. And you can open yourself up to other experiences. And I take it to like just trivial stuff. Like the old me that has, that said first response to any invitation to try anything new was no. Like, no, I won't like it. How you know you won't like it? You haven't even tried it. Someone many years ago tried to introduce me to sushi. I was like, nah, that's not for me. How do you know? You never eaten raw fish. And fast forward 20 years later, I tried sushi. I'm like, I love it. I could have been enjoying it 20 years ago. How would I know? Someone invites you to go do something. You're like, nah, I don't want to go do that. How do you know you want to do it? Well, I did something similar. Well, that small sample size is going to tell you that you know everything that you need to know about what this might be like. None of us know what this is going to be like. We think we do, but we don't. Take it to go with water. I had one negative experience, or maybe two, with water and swimming. And so based on that, I was ready to ban the activity of swimming from my life. And then Rick inspired me to do a triathlon, in which, if I was going to do a triathlon, swimming is a component. I needed to learn how to swim. I did so. I love being in a swimming pool. I love being in open water, wakeboarding, and wake surfing. I love doing all those things, but that's something that, based on this data set that rounded to zero, what influenced and informed the things that I said yes to when it came to water. It did the same thing with pets, particularly dogs, which thankfully I gave that up because dogs are incredible. Dogs are amazing. And I kept doing this over and over with food, with people. You don't even know this person. So they got a bumper sticker that says this, or they wear this kind of clothing, or they were part of this particular march. Okay, that's one data set out of their entire lives. I know nothing about them, but here I am basing my opinion and my life on it. Another example would be Michael Singer says, oh, you think you know that person? Okay, no, you don't. You just met that person. One thing they did, it hit your stuff, now you don't like them. How do you know? Because they didn't say hello to you? Because, they walked up and they talked to everyone else, but you weren't they didn't mention your name, or they didn't look at you. So you formed this full opinion about them? Really? Michael Singer said that's like giving you a 500-page book, sliding it over to you, telling you to open it and reading the first word. Now tell me what the book is about. You have no idea what the book is about of one word. Just like you've had this one experience that you have no idea about the person based on one experience that you've had with them. So I've really learned to be open to that, to really this idea that what I think I know is not even worth mentioning. Now, if someone asks me about my experience, I can tell them about my experience, and maybe that can help us do the best we can. with trying to work together to collaborate. But in the grand scheme of things, it's the best guess based on the little that I know. And so I encourage you to not take what you've picked up along the way as something that is going to be definitive about how you live your life. There's a guy I mentioned a couple of podcasts ago who was telling me a story that most people would think would be racially insensitive. And I remember my commitment to myself to keep an open heart to everyone, period. Give them grace and not to confuse people's behavior with their humanity. And I'm staying true to that. But what I do know is, with the exception of this one or two small events in which he said something that could be considered insensitive, that the larger sampling that I have from him, he's been incredibly kind and thoughtful. And so, which data set am I going to use? Or I can even take it a step further. I can say no data set is necessary at all. And what I'm going to do is be kind and loving regardless of how other people show up. And that can be include the people that you work with, the people in the community that you know and don't know, people in the country, people across the world, and people that are in your home that you are close to. It applies there too. So for me, let's cut out the middleman. Don't need a data set. Definitely don't want to trust one that my personal mind has said that this is what we're going with, because that only creates walls and instead of building bridges. And I'm not in erecting walls business. I'm in the building bridges business. And the well-being practice helps me do that. So I encourage you to do the same thing. Stop living your life based on the nothing data that you picked up along the way. It's not credible.